Hello and a warm welcome to News Across Nigeria. I'm Melinda Akinlami. On the program today, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, preaches religious tolerance, asks Nigerians to love one another. The Minister of Agriculture emphasizes the need for farmers and herdsmen to work together, says federal government is doing all it can to ensure peace reigns between both parties. And Enugu State government moves to protect tricycle riders from criminal elements. We begin the show with legal matters. The trial of Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki at the Code of Conduct Tribunal in Abuja has been stalled following the filing of an 18-count further amended charge against him. The Senate President is expected to take a fresh plea to the amended charges on February the 23rd. The defense team, led by Mr. Kanu Agabi, objected to the plea being taken today on the ground that his client needs time to study the amended charges in order to prepare for his defense. Based on his arguments, the chairman of the tribunal adjourned the case to February the 23rd for a fresh arraignment. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arraigned a senior advocate of Nigeria, Dele Belgore, at the Federal High Court in Lagos. Mr. Belgore, a PDP chieftain who vied for the party's governorship ticket in the last Kwara state election, was arraigned on a 5-count charge alongside the immediate past Minister of National Planning, Professor Abubakar Sulaiman. They were both arraigned before Justice Rilwan Akiwa. Both defendants pleaded not guilty to the charges, and their lawyers have made a request for bail. The two defendants were granted bail on self-recognition, but the judge asked them to deposit their passports with the Chief Deputy Registrar of the court. The case has been adjourned till February the 23rd. The Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says it is not true that the federal government has turned a blind eye to the series of killings in southern Kaduna. He addressed the issue while speaking at the 14th National Biennial Conference of Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria in Benin City, the Edo State capital. The Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, welcoming the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, to Benin City. He's here as the special guest at the 14th National Convention of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, where thousands gathered ahead of his arrival. Professor Osinbajo joins the leadership of the PFN as they examine the issues confronting the nation. The national president of the body, Reverend Felix Omobude, emphasizes the need for Christians to unite in the midst of Nigeria's myriad problems.
Work for unity at all times, no matter what challenge we might be faced with. The future is bright, but we must embrace it with purpose. We must face the challenge of managing success very maturely.
Host Governor Godwin Obaseki asks Nigerians to practice responsible religion to ensure a harmonious relationship among all faiths.
The many social scourges that we face as a society can be eliminated if we express our faith responsibly and if government partners with religious bodies.
He came with a song of praise. But the Vice President minced no words in condemning the incessant killings across the country, saying Nigeria's greatest enemy is hate.
Since investigations are still going on, it will be irresponsible of me to make any categorical statements, except to say that the approach that the federal government has taken to all civil conflicts is first to allow the governor, the chief security officer of the state, working with the police, to be the first responders.
Messages from most of the clergy dwelt on how Nigeria can survive the trying times and how religious leaders can work together to bring back the peace, which they believe will ultimately help in revamping the nation's economy. In In the meantime, the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike is encouraging religious leaders to preach peace. The governor was speaking when the national president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Mr. Samson Ayokunle, visited him at the government house in Port Harcourt, the state capital.
If leadership is not a body, all the titles associated with leadership will not be there. Leadership is a body, but it becomes a pleasure when you are right there in the will of God. So the Lord, who has caused you to be chosen to lead the people of River State at a time like this, is going to be with you. God does not give you an assignment that is equal to your strength.
There's nothing we're doing in this state that is not involved. The problem which I've always called the church, they must show leadership. They must show unity. All of us are the same. You see, the problem we have, and that has been the bane of Christianity, is if I'm the leader, if I'm not the one in charge of this particular activity, that's where the problem comes. But when your people are involved, it shows that the association is involved.
Some residents in Anambra State are unhappy with the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company because of constant power outages and massive bills given for services not rendered. They are appealing to the Minister of Power, Babatunde Fashola, to give answers to many questions concerning irregularities in electricity distribution.
Some residents of Ngozika Housing Estates and Traders Association from Awka North and South are on the streets of Awka, the Anambra State capital. They are unhappy with the electricity distribution company in Enugu in charge of their supplies. They allege experiencing constant power failure in their communities dating to the year 2013. They cannot understand why they are still billed exorbitant rates for services not rendered.
Our economy is in shambles because EEDC cannot take us to the next level. There's no doubt about it. I submit that these people should be scrapped. Let there be another company.
When the bill comes, it comes in a very exorbitant rate. Since October 2015, you can see we pay average of 8,000 every month to EDDC when there is no light. We are crying. If there's no light, they should not give us bill.
Consequently, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, who is in the region on duty, gives an insight into some of the challenges bedeviling the power sector, albeit is in Anambra State to inspect federal roads.
Some of the power plants too are going to finish this year. Gorara will finish this year. Kaduna will finish this year. Kashimbila is later in the year, early in 2019. We're working to deliver some solar initiatives also to penetrate communities that have not seen power. These are some of our continuing plans for incremental power and also to address the liquidity issues in gas, in generation, and also in distribution.
Going forward, the minister reveals that a nationwide power audit is imminent to ascertain consumers' actual power consumption rate and ensure that corresponding tariffs are paid to ensure sustainability.
Coming up on the program, the Minister of Agriculture appeals to farmers and herdsmen to try to get along. More details in a moment. Join us again.